The warriors. Your skin protects all your insides, muscles, bones, ligaments, arteries, organs, and blood. And it keeps out much of the stuff that's supposed to stay out. But there are times when the skin just isn't up to the job. Germs, dirt, grime, and more get past the first line of defense and inside where they don't belong. That's when the warriors beneath your skin go to work. These warriors are all part of your immune system, and many of them live in your blood. Blood is part of your body's circulatory system. Your heart pumps your blood, and your network of blood vessels carry it throughout your body. There are special cells in your blood that help your body fight disease called white blood cells. These cells are created in your bone marrow, the living tissue found inside many of your bones. Your bone marrow also makes red blood cells and platelets, what your blood is made out of. Plasma. More than half of your blood, around 55%, is made up of this pale yellow liquid, a mixture of mostly water, along with salt, nutrients, and more. Platelets. These are tiny round cells that stop the bleeding when you have a cut, and red blood cells. These look like dodgeballs with the air taken out of them. Red blood cells are red because of a chemical called hemoglobin, which carries oxygen from your lungs to your body's cells and then carries waste such as carbon dioxide from the cells back to the lungs. White blood cells. White blood cells. These cells are bigger than red blood cells, and it's their job to fight the invading germs that get in from the outside. They are produced by stem cells in your bone marrow and are found in your blood and your lymphatic system. There are different types of white blood cells, each of which has an important function. Granulocytes, these are the body's main defense against bacteria. They get rid of germs by ingesting them in a process called phagocytosis. Most of the granulocytes are neutrophils, which are the first white blood cells to arrive at a site of injury. Each neutrophil can phagocytize from 5 to 20 bacteria before dying. There are more neutrophils in your body than any other type of white blood cell. Other granulocytes are responsible for killing parasites and protozoa. Another granulocyte is responsible for releasing histamine, which causes blood vessels to leak, attracting white blood cells to the scene. Histamine is what causes allergic reactions. Monocytes. These are the largest of the white blood cells. Once released in the bone marrow, they move to the blood and then into the tissue where they turn into macrophages. These serve as the general cleanup service for different organs. For example, macrophages will remove smoke particles from your lung. They also surround invading germs that have escaped the neutrophils, swallow them up, and clean up the neutrophils that died fighting the germs. The pus that forms in infected cuts is dead neutrophils. Lymphocytes. These guys also fight bacterial and viral infections, but instead of swallowing them, they recognize and remember them. When your body is infected with a particular germ, only the lymphocytes that recognize it will attack it by multiplying quickly, creating an army to fight off the germ. The next time this germ comes around, a few lymphocytes remember it and attack it before it can multiply, making you immune to the disease, which means you can't get infected by the same virus again. So we talked about the good guys, now we're going to talk about the bad guys. So who are these bad guys that are just dying to get into our bodies and make us miserable? They're called germs, pathogens, or infectious agents, and they're microscopic organisms that can cause diseases. There are trillions and trillions of germs in the air, water, and soil, on plants and animals, in your hair, on your fingers, in your stomach, and your mouth. Germs can be broken down into 4 categories: viruses, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. Certain members of each of these categories can harm you, though not all of them are bad for you or cause you any problems at all. When germs invade your body and multiply, it's called getting an infection. Bacteria. This is exactly what they look like. They carry the stick and everything. Just kidding. These are one-celled organisms that are much smaller than one of your own cells. Bacteria can exist on their own and like to live and eat inside our bodies. Most bacteria are harmless or even good for you, but some can cause diseases such as strep throat, ear infections, and pneumonia. If you have a bacterial infection, it'll usually be in one place in or on your body, and you may be prescribed a certain type of medicine called an antibiotic. An antibiotic's job is to kill bacteria and help you feel better more quickly. Viruses are also bad guys. A virus isn't technically alive and therefore can't reproduce on its own. In order to make copies of itself, a virus particle, otherwise known as a virion, takes over a cell, which then reproduces the virus inside it. This is how viruses spread through your body. Chickenpox, measles, the flu, and the common cold are all viruses. Antibiotics cannot cure viruses. However, there are antiviral medicines that combat them. Viruses tend to affect many different parts of the body at once. Protozoa. Protozoas are one-celled organisms that can live wherever there is some moisture, so think water, damp soil. These cause infections in our intestines, leading to stomach aches, diarrhea, and vomiting. And then fungi, poor little fungi. Fungi are multi-celled, plant-like creatures that live in warm, damp places, such as between your toes. Athlete's foot is a common fungal attack. And if you ever wondered what some of these things might look like, there are some examples.